Okay, for this video, I'm going to be going over all the measurements for our extremity views. In the manual, most of them, if not all of them, say that the measurement goes through the central ray, so this will help give you a little visual aid. So for the AC joint, you're going to come right at the AC joint and measure in an A to P direction. Okay, so it's going to look like that. As you know, AC joint do weighted and non-weighted, so that same measurement is applicable for both. For the clavicle, frontal, you're going to come right through here and get right at the mid shaft of the clavicle, and this will also work for axial as well. If you wanted to try to accommodate the tube tilt, you can, but it's not really going to make much of a difference. So that's going to be clavicle setup. For shoulder, AP internal and external rotation, you're going to go 1 inch below the coracoid and measure in an A to P direction. That will also work for Grashey's, the same measurement. For Y projection, you're going to want to palpate where your central ray goes. So you're going to come scapular spine, medial scapular border where they meet here and drop down 1/2 inch. And then put the calipers right there and measure through. So it'll look like that. So that's for Y projection. All of these measurements really are not that different from one to the next. But just, you know, change your central ray depending which view you have. Okay, so moving on to elbow. For A to P, palm up, measure right through the antecubital fossa. Okay, A to P. Medial oblique, palm down, same spot, measure right through there. For lateral, go ahead and bend the elbow, go thumb up, and then measure right through the radial head. Okay, that's elbow. For wrist, P to A wrist is here. It would be the same measurement for ulnar deviation. Medial oblique here, lateral here. Okay. Hand, we're going to go right at the third metacarpal. This is P to A. Open up a little bit. That would be medial oblique. And then that would be your lateral there. If you get thumb, lateral thumb, just have them go thumbs up and measure right through the base of the thumb. And then A to P would look something like this. Okay. So you get good A to P measurement. So that's all of upper extremity. Okay, for lower extremity, A to P pelvis, you're going to be midline on your patient. Right in about the plane of the ASIS will be good. Take that measurement. For the frog leg lateral and AP spot, you're going to be right over that affected hip, whichever one you choose. So that measurement's applicable for both. Okay, now when we get into knee, AP knee, you're going to go 1 inch below the patellar apex, and I'm measuring in an A to P direction, as you can see here. Lateral, you're going to go right at the joint line and measure laterally. Now for the tunnel view, where the patient's in the runner's stance, this A to P measurement is going to be about the same. You can have them bend the knee slightly and try to achieve the same thing, but the measurements are not going to be very different. If you draw sunrise patella, have them maximally flex the knee, and then you're basically going to measure the height of the patella, right? Because that's right through where my central ray is going to go. Okay? So now we'll move on to ankle. Remember, our central ray for the ankle views is 1 inch below the ankle mortise joint for all of them. So for A to P, I'll hold my foot in an A to P position and measure there. Medial oblique, we tilt in slightly. Measuring doesn't change much. And then laterally, you'll come this way, okay? So that's A to P, and that's lateral. That's the ankle. For the foot, you're going to come right at the base of the third. So I'm right through my midfoot. So that's going to be A to P. That will be medial oblique. And then laterally, I will measure this way, right? Because that's the direction of my central ray. That's lateral, okay? The last one we need to do is calcaneus. So I'll measure right through the mid-body of the calcaneus for lateral here. And then if you, for tangential, you'll have the patient maximally dorsiflex and do your best just to measure the calcaneus. Okay, so put them in the position. It's going to be a kind of a weird measurement, but that's how you'll do that. Okay, so those are all the measurements for the extremities. Don't forget, you'll still do those prior to beginning your final practical.